In the headlines, Nigerian Labour Congress asks President Buhari to raise salaries by 50%. Imo State Governor says crude oil thieves should not be treated as sacred cows. Customs generate 1.293 trillion naira revenue in 6 months. And on the foreign scene, Taliban violently dispersed women's protest in Kabul. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. The Nigeria Labour Congress has recommended a 50% salary review across board given the economic realities on ground. The Labour Union made the recommendation in a letter dated August 8 to President Muhammadu Buhari in response to the economic prescriptions offered by state governors. The governors had pushed for the elimination of petrol subsidy, the retirement of civil servants from the age of 50, and the reduction of National Assembly constituency projects, among other prescriptions. The union lambasted the governors for seeking early retirement of workers, saying anyone promoting this idea should be treated as enemies of government. Instead of early retirement, the union asked the Buhari-led administration to consider a further increase of workers' salaries. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma urged Nigerians to focus more on pressing issues like oil theft and banditry instead of debate over Muslim ticket that can further divide the country. He made the appeal Friday while fielding questions from State House reporters after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Uzodinma was at the villa to seek the presidential approval for the conversion of Federal Medical Center Owerri to Federal University of Technology Teaching Hospital, as well as the upgrade of Alvan Ikoku College of Education to Federal University of Education Owerri. The governor, who asked the federal government to identify the brains behind crude oil theft in Nigeria and bring them to justice, described the act as a cancer which must be dealt with to revive the economy.
And of course, the best place to say whether it is correct or it is not correct is the law court. And it is before the law court. And of course, whatever support we will give is to ensure that justice prevails. In the same manner, as brothers and relatives, we sympathize with the situation. We're giving him also the necessary support at our disposal. But we will also allow justice to prevail. I have no doubt in my mind that he's a man of integrity. He's a man that we can trust, and he's not known to have committed any crime, to the best of my knowledge, in Nigeria. We were in the Senate together, and he's a man I have a very high opinion of, and I have a lot of respect for him. By the grace of God, I trust the justice system in Britain. I'm sure, and I'm almost convinced, that he will be free by the grace of God.
President Muhammadu Buhari has launched the National Crisis Management Doctrine, which was developed to bridge the gap created to extensive deployment of security services through fostering collaboration among ministries, departments, and agencies. Speaking at the launch at State House Abuja on Friday, the president described the feat as a significant milestone in recognition of the need for collective efforts towards achieving coordinated, effective, and efficient national crisis management. Kende Amodu reports.
The National Crisis Management Doctrine, which was developed by the Office of the National Security Advisor, is expected to ensure greater successes in tackling national crises. The governments of Britain and the United States collaborated in the development of the doctrine, which provides a detailed methodology for national crisis response. President Buhari says the explosion of insecurity across Nigeria in the past 7 years has stretched the deployment of resources and the national security apparatus, which is why this doctrine is necessary.
Nigeria was faced with multiple security challenges ranging from terrorism, kidnapping, armed banditry, ethnic militia attacks, oil theft, rape, gun running, and various acts emanating from violent extremism. The emergence of the Boko Haram terrorists group, as well as bandits and kidnappers in Nigeria, considerably changed the country's security situation, leaving panic in the minds of the populace.
The president says the document demonstrates the renewed promise and commitment of this administration to manage crisis in the country.
I am delighted to state that this is a significant milestone in recognition of the need for our collective efforts towards achieving coordinated, effective, and efficient national crisis management.
National Security Advisor Babagana Mongunu is confident that with the general principles set out within it, the document will provide the necessary response to malicious threats and civil emergencies.
These work streams are aimed at building resilience to mitigate the impact of terrorist attacks and to develop a framework for the mobilization and coordinated cross-governmental efforts. Accordingly, the purpose of the National Crisis Management Doctrine is to provide the framework for multi-agency response to national crisis while fostering collaboration and interoperability.
Owing to the dynamics of insecurity, the Office of the National Security Advisor revised the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy to the National Crisis Management Doctrine. It also upgraded work streams from 5, namely forestall, secure, identify, prepare, and implement, to 2 components, prepare and implement. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
Elder statesman and Ijaw leader Edwin Clark says inclusivity in the Nigerian political setting is destroyed with APC Muslim tickets. Speaking on Trust TV's Reminiscences, the former federal commissioner said he shared his thoughts with the Senator Kashim Shettima when he visited him in Abuja. The report.
You cannot run a government that is not balanced. The Christians, if you take their census, it may even be difficult to know the population of the Muslim and the population of the Christians. You will now add middle belt. So, therefore you cannot ignore one of saying that you will have a Muslim. So we argued, I said, you spend 1 billion naira on rebuilding churches. And that money belongs to the people of Borno State. So if you have no regard for church, for the Christianity, why did you waste the money?
The full program will be broadcast on Saturday at 7 p.m. on Trust TV. Away from that story, Kaduna State Governorship candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, SULEMAN, said neglecting community policing and non-involvement of traditional rulers in the security architecture contributes to the deterioration of security in Kaduna State and Nigeria. Hunkui said this at a press briefing in Kaduna, saying the Muslim ticket of the ruling APC in Kaduna State and at the national level will not work.
Senator Suleiman Hunkui was an ally of Governor Nasiru El-Rufai before his defection to NNPP. He said insecurity is allowed to fester because of neglect of community policing. He said failure by the relevant authorities to involve traditional rulers in matters of security in Kaduna State also contributed to worsening the situation.
The issue of security is community-based. Part of what caused the problem, and is still causing the problem, is you remove community leadership. How many village heads were hitherto by this government removed from office? How many district heads were removed from office? They have a contribution to make. Problem of our youth, lack of engagement. Part of the security apparatus in community policing must recognize the abundance of this youth.
Senator Hunqui also said APC Muslim ticket is dead on arrival.
You cannot finish raking the economy of a nation the way APC does, and today come with the issue of religious. It won't work. It can't work. It's not correct. It won't sail through.
Senator Hunqui further appealed to the people of Kaduna State to remain law-abiding and avoid violence in the build-up to the elections. Billa Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. How woman makes apple using modern technology. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Nigerian Labour Congress asks President Buhari to raise salaries by 50%. You also heard that Imo State Governor says crude oil thieves should not be treated as sacred cows. Moving on to more news. In education, President Muhammadu Buhari has again appealed to the Academic Staff Union of Universities to call off the lingering strike to avoid a total collapse of the education sector. The president stated this at the sole convocation ceremony of the University of Maiduguri for the conferment of a doctorate degree on Alhaji Muhammadu Indimi. President Buhari, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Ibrahim Gambari, said the continuous strike undermines the nation's human capital development. He added that Nigerians should disregard the belief that insecurity strives under the present administration, but rather appreciate the peace experienced in the country. Present at the event were former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Nigeria's First Lady, Aisha Buhari.
The work to tackle insecurity and to transform our infrastructure must necessarily happen concurrently. No government anywhere in the world will suspend one for the other. The hard work to make Nigeria a more secure country is an ongoing one, and the result will emerge steadily and incrementally. As real progress has been made and is being made in resolving the contentious issues that separate the federal government negotiators from the ASU leaders. In this regard, the continuation of ASU strike is now clearly counterproductive. Students wish to return to classes. Their parents want their children to do so without any further delay. This nation cannot afford prolonged interruption of higher education for its youth, and thus undermine the development of our human capital.
Universities to urgently resolve the ongoing stalemate in the overall best interest of our country, parents, and students. The continuous closure of the universities is causing irreversible damage to the future of our students and the reputation of our country in general.
August 12th is set aside for youths all across the world to be celebrated, which will go a long way for them to be good ambassadors of the country at all times. Kabiru Lawan speaks to some youths in the Federal Capital Territory who say government should provide an enabling environment for the youths to showcase their God-given talent. The report.
International Youth Day is an awareness day designated by the United Nations. The message this year is that for the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs to be achieved, the world needs to leverage the full potential of all generations. In other words, solidarity across generations is key to sustainable development, and no one should be left behind. To achieve this objective, governments must make the youths more productive and support them to do more for the country.
As we speak, due to the condition of the country at the moment, I know what happens in the mind of every youth these days is that later they get up from their bed, they start going out to hustle for what they want to eat. I think that comes first in their mind, and basically, I've not even seen enough advert or stuff like that, putting on the wave to show that such event is coming up.
Some know and some don't know. Why? Is because most time, youths are not often carried along whenever the government wants to do anything. They don't carry us along, so some people don't even care. Some youths don't care about the day. I'm aware, I know about the day. I know today is the International Youth Day, but plenty of people don't know.
One of the glaring dysfunctions that has impacted negatively on the youth is the lingering ASU strike.
Government or federal government don't carry us along because they don't know that youth exist. Understand? If the youth exists, at least anything that I put in the budget, they always put the youth forward because they said you are the leader of the tomorrow. And it is now, they are the leaders, we are not the...
For the ASU strike, I will say it's a very painful thing. I feel pain every day because I know, as a matter of fact, it's one area that has shown how our government has failed woefully. Education is the foundation of development. And if you get it wrong from your educational level, I tell you, there's no way we can do better. And that's why we are facing what we are facing today.
The youth is looking to governments to provide the essential tools that will enable them to achieve their potential goals. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
With technology factored into most aspects of society, government and well-meaning individuals are being urged to provide the enabling environment to make innovation more accessible to the average Nigerian. Such innovations would help make the vulnerable in society more self-reliant and useful. In this report, Kabiru Lawal speaks to a widow whose use of technology has transformed the production of cassava meal, also known as akpu, in the Federal Capital City.
Akpu is thick, stable Nigerian food extracted from cassava tubers, also known as fufu in local parlance. Fufu can also be processed from plantain flour. The local delicacy is best served with typical traditional soups, including bitter leaf soup, groundnut soup, egusi soup, ora, and vegetable soup. Some of the nutritional content of akpu include carbohydrate, dietary fiber, protein, calcium, iron, and high amount of potassium. The calories in akpu or fufu is 267 in a 100-gram serving. Blessing Ahmed, who is a widow, said the business has helped her to become independent since she lost her husband and has kept food on the table for her. But Blessing's own kind of akpu is different because it is aided by technology, which has made her work not just faster, but much easier.
Every day they are used to put money, but now where they are farm everything, farm beans, so now the price was coming down small. They used to remove 100 naira, 50 naira, or 200 naira sometimes. So we used to buy this bag, this small bag, 500 naira before, but now it's 2,000, sometimes 180.
Blessing Ahmed believes the provision of more technology-driven initiatives would go a long way to help the vulnerable in society to contribute their quota towards the development of the nation. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Traditionalists from different parts of the world on Friday converged in Osogbo, Osun State capital for the annual Osun-Osogbo International Festival. The worshippers trooped to the Osogbo Shrine to perform rites and offer prayers, while tourists explored the sacred Osun Grove. Hamid Oyegbade brings the report.
Tourists, devotees and visitors attended the grand finale of the annual Osun-Osogbo International Festival. The week-long event was concluded with the traditional rites performed at the Osun Shrine on Friday, witnessed by a large crowd. People were seen making prayer requests at the shrine as they offered sacrifices and fetched water from Osun River for healing. The Director General, National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Professor Isa Tijani Abba, who was represented by the Director in charge of Heritage Monuments and Sites, Victoria Oswago, encouraged Nigerians to cherish and keep their culture.
The Commission has always encouraged the people to keep their tradition, and we're also involved in a series of activities. We carry out restoration of some sculptures in the groove. Even currently, we did the regrassing of the first palace, which is a very key feature in the celebration, because that is where the king must sit to pronounce blessings on his citizens.
A Yoruba teacher in Brazil, Ade Somi, who brought his students to Osogbo from Brazil to witness the festival, said he was glad they were happy with what they saw at the festival.
All my students, Yoruba students, my name is Ifadayo. Yoruba name, and she has a Brazilian name as a Vanessa. And this is Rita, Vanina, my Yoruba name. And this is Baba Lorisa, Baba Wu, of the Lorisa house in Brazil. And this is
One of the Brazilians who attended the festival said his Yoruba name is Adeosun and that he loves Yoruba culture and tradition.
We came here to take part of the Osun festival because for us it is very important to take part of the Yoruba nation about the Osun festival. Our house in Brazil belongs to Osun. We have a Leorisa in Brazil.
The state governor, Adegboyega Oyetola, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Prince Wale Oyebamiji, said his administration was committed to promoting Osun-Osogbo International Festival and making sure that the celebration was done peaceful.
In business, the Nigerian Customs Service has announced that from January to June 2022, it generated 1.292 trillion naira as revenue on behalf of the federal government. National Public Relations Officer of the service, Timi Bomodi, made the announcement on Friday while announcing the half-year performance of the service at a press conference in Abuja. The revenue target given to the Nigerian Customs Service for the year 2022 is 3.019 trillion naira. The customs spokesman, however, noted that the service will soon commence the collection of telecommunication tax on behalf of the federal government as mandated. On its enforcement and anti-smuggling campaign, Bomodi further stated that there have been remarkable interventions in the anti-smuggling activities of the service, with the top 7 items seized being narcotics, foreign parboiled rice, and illegal motor parts or imports of dangerous pharmaceuticals. The Bureau of Public Service Reform has reiterated the federal government's determination to support and strengthen digital services to provide timely and effective public service to Nigerians. Director General of the Bureau, Dasuki Arabi, said this at a training on national digital transformation and data protection awareness organized by the Institute for Information Management on Friday in Abuja. According to him, the aim of the one-day sensitization training is to help improve digital literacy, which he said is critical to the development of the country. President and Chairman of the Governing Council of IIM, Oyedokun Oyewole had earlier explained that the awareness campaign was to imbibe global best practices in data management. He said that the campaign was to further inform public servants on newly introduced services and needs.
This gesture will no doubt improve transparency and accountability in the service, and to assist government with right quality as well as caliber of public service workforce relevant in this age and getting on site to provide the 21st century public service. It is also one of the most important critical factors for enhancing good governance and service delivery in the world, and most especially in Nigeria. The national data transformation aims to improve the transparency, flexibility, reliability, and sustainability of digital services, as well as reduce digital services time and cost in line with the e-government master plan of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It also seeks to strengthen the public-private partnership support for getting the private sector to support government to design and develop the services that we are transiting from analog to digital.
On the foreign scene, Taliban fighters beat women protesters and fired into the air on Saturday as they violently dispersed a rare rally in the Afghan capital days ahead of the first anniversary of the hardline Islamist return to power. Since seizing power on August 15 last year, the Taliban have rolled back the marginal gains made by women during the 2 decades of U.S. intervention in Afghanistan. Some women protesters who took refuge in nearby shops were chased and bitten by Taliban fighters with their rifle butts. The protesters carried a banner which read, "August 15 is a black day," as they demanded rights to work and political participation. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashin Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.